You went into great detail about what's happening, particularly in China. I just wanted to go over something that I felt wasn't asked, which is fiscal second quarter sales, $45 billion plus or minus 2%. $8 billion of lost revenue opportunity, specifically relating to China in H20. It seems as if you made up somewhere some demand for a different product or from a different geography or from a different corner of the market. What was that?
Well, we got a whole bunch of engines firing right now. The biggest one, of course, is the reasoning AI inference. The demand is just off the charts. You see the popularity of all these AI services now, ChatGPT, Gemini, so on and so forth, Grok. I mean, they're just doing incredibly well across the board. And all of the APIs that they serve out and all the agentic AI services that are built on top of them, they're all doing incredibly well. I think that there's just a giant breakthrough in AI's capability, and inferencing has just become a giant workload. Second, people realize that Blackwell is just a home run. NVLink 72 is a home run architecture. We designed it to be a thinking machine, a reasoning AI system. And I think people now, the confluence of the breakthrough in reasoning AI and the availability, the emergence of Grace Blackwell NVLink 72, perfect timing. I think that's at the core, a big part of it. And the second part of it is that our supply chain is growing and we're really ramping it up and they're doing fantastically for us. And so all of these things are all coming together.
And so it is fair to say that some of that additional supply on Blackwell and the demand for Blackwell kind of made up for the opportunity lost in China, at least in the outlook for this current period?
Yeah, I guess so. But, you can't underestimate the importance of the China market. This is the second largest AI market. This is the home of the world's largest population of AI researchers. And we want all of the world's AI researchers and all of the world's developers to be building on American stacks.
Jensen, I surveyed our Bloomberg Technology audience around the world for questions for you. And I think the most common question is understanding who NVIDIA's customers are away from the hyperscalers, but actually many questions about Elon Inc. and whether Tesla and xAI in aggregate might actually be one of the biggest customers you have. You think about not just the data center chips, but the chips specific for Optimus or in the cars, the Omniverse component. Could you speak a little about that?
We do a lot of business with Tesla and xAI. Elon's, as you know, is just an extraordinary engineer, and I love working with him. We've built some amazing computers together. We're going to build many more computers together, and the work that he's doing in Grok, his self-driving car, his Optimus. These are all, every single one of them world-class. Every single one of them revolutionary. Every single one of them are going to be gigantic opportunities. And we're delighted. I'm delighted to be working with him on that. And so I think the Optimus opportunity is just right around the corner. It's very likely that human robots are going to be robots that we can deploy into the world relatively easily. And this is the first robot that really has a chance to achieve the high volume and technology scale necessary to advance technology. And so I think this is likely to be the next multi-trillion-dollar industry. I'm very excited for him.
Jensen, let's end by talking about Europe. You alluded to a trip you're taking next week. It sounds as if the infrastructure build out in Europe is coming. Where will you be visiting and who will you be speaking with?
Well, I'm going to leave the who as a surprise for all of you, but I'll be seeing lots of heads of states, and I'll be in France and UK and Germany and Belgium, and I think that it's very clear now that every country recognizes that artificial intelligence, like electricity, like internet, like communications, is part of a national infrastructure. No society could do without intelligence, as you know, and there's an awakening that every country has to take some initiative to ensure that their country and their society has access to artificial intelligence. And so we're really delighted to be able to work with work with the European countries to bring AI infrastructure to them and work with them to build AI factories. There's an umpteen number of AI factory projects in discussion and development, so I'm really excited to make this trip. We're going to be all over Europe.
The world of AI is moving at an unbelievable pace, and if there's one person at the helm of this revolution, it's Elon Musk. But this time, it's not just Tesla's electric vehicles or SpaceX's rockets leading the charge. It's a much deeper, more intricate game that Musk is playing, one that could radically transform the future of technology and industries across the globe. And according to NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang, if Elon succeeds in this next venture, he might just own the entire market. From concept to execution, Musk's ability to pull off ambitious projects at a speed no one else can match is nothing short of extraordinary. We've already seen it with Tesla's self-driving cars, SpaceX's reusable rockets, and now, AI. We're not just talking about any AI, but reasoning AI, systems that don't just respond to queries, but think through problems in a human-like way. And Elon is quietly building the infrastructure to make this next leap happen faster than anyone imagined. Think about it. We're on the verge of AI models that don't just provide answers. They reason, they adapt, and they think critically. Jensen Huang explains that the more computing power you pour into these models, the smarter they become, which creates an arms race of sorts, not just between companies, but between entire countries. The battle for AI dominance is as real as it gets, and Elon is playing to win. Now, let's talk about the tech behind it all. We're talking about supercomputers capable of processing data faster than ever before. What Elon is building through Tesla, xAI, and SpaceX is nothing short of a convergence of power, speed, and scale that could redefine how industries operate. It's about AI-driven systems that power everything from self-driving cars to humanoid robots. And if Elon gets it right, this could change the way we live and work forever. But here's where it gets interesting. Jensen Huang, who knows a thing or two about pushing boundaries in AI, points out that Elon is building an infrastructure so massive that it might leave competitors in the dust. While companies like NVIDIA continue to make strides with chips and software, it's Musk's ability to assemble the right people, technology, and resources to deliver at scale that's most impressive. And with NVIDIA's support, this collaboration could give Elon the edge he needs to dominate AI across multiple industries. The pace at which Musk moves, and his ability to scale projects at an unheard-of rate, sets him apart from everyone else. While others might take years to build out complex AI systems, Musk is pulling it off in a matter of months. With Tesla's AI factory, the infrastructure for reasoning AI, and NVIDIA's cutting-edge technology, the pieces are falling into place faster than anyone expected. But here's the kicker. The stakes are incredibly high. If Elon pulls this off, it could mean the end of competition in AI for the foreseeable future. So, what does all this mean? Will Elon Musk's relentless push for smarter, faster AI bring about an entirely new era of technological domination? Or will he face unexpected obstacles that slow down his progress? The future of AI is up for grabs, and Elon is positioned like never before to take it all. In this video, we'll dive into the breakthrough technology Jensen Huang is talking about, explore how Elon Musk is accelerating his AI ambitions, and why this shift could completely change the market. Strap in, because this is the beginning of a technological arms race, and if Elon Musk gets his way, the game could be over before anyone even realizes it.
What DeepSeek has done is it open-sourced a new type of state-of-the-art AI model called reasoning models. Reasoning models are basically models that think. Instead of you asking the chatbot a question and it instantly spews out an answer.
Right now, we're watching AI change faster than ever, and NVIDIA is right at the center of it. From powering smarter AI models to navigating new challenges with China and Washington, NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang is showing how this technology is shaping the future. In this video, we're going to break down what Jensen is saying, why it matters, and how recent moves, like DeepSeek's rise and new export rules, are setting the stage for what's coming next.
Breaking news, OpenAI just hitting the tape with this announcement, the launch of its newest and largest AI model, GPT 4.5. So it promises a significant update to the large language model underlying ChatGPT. So here's what we know. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman just posted on X, quote, "It's a different kind of intelligence, and there's a magic to it I have not felt before." NVIDIA makes the chips powering the magic of artificial intelligence. What's ahead? On the heels of quarterly earnings, let's bring in NVIDIA founder and CEO Jensen Huang. And I mean, by nearly every measure, it was a record-breaking quarter. During the conference call, though, and this really caught my ear, you rattled off a list of all the tech giants, automakers, healthcare. I mean, the Mayo Clinic, you said, is using AI to pioneer drug discovery. They're all incorporating it. But I got to ask you, do you see a sector that's slow to embrace artificial intelligence and should be way more aggressive in adopting AI right now?
Well, that's a good question. Everybody is racing to adopt AI. I would say it this way. I would say that number one, the core technology builders, the model builders, and the companies that are building consumer-oriented AIs, search, recommender systems, music recommendation, video recommendation, all of those product recommendation. All of those types of consumer AI adoption is incredibly fast. The frontier models and all of the startups trying to build a next generation of frontier models, they're racing to get to the next level. Then there's the areas that are developing. We call them agentic AI, almost like a digital workforce. And they're digital marketing people or software engineers that will be agentic. And so that area is developing very nicely, and that's likely to come on next. The next phase after that is what we call physical AI. This is AI that understands the laws of the world, the physical world. It understands things like inertia and gravity and cause and effect and object permanence. And we'll use that for self-driving cars and robotics systems and so on, things of that nature. And so each one of these industries are kind of coming on in waves, and they're all building on top of each other. What we see is if you look at this year's data center CapEx and you compare it to last year, it's a big, huge growth. And the vast majority of that data center CapEx used to be allocated to general purpose computing, traditional data centers. Mm-hmm. But now going forward, it's going to be used for NVIDIA's accelerated computing and AI type of systems. And so not only is the CapEx larger, the amount of that CapEx dedicated to AI is going to be far greater. And so we're seeing a very robust growth for this year compared to last year.
You can feel it. AI is everywhere now. NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang says consumer AI adoption is moving incredibly fast, and honestly, you can see it. Look at ChatGPT, Spotify's music picks, TikTok's video feed. They're getting smarter every day. And he's right. A PwC survey found 73% of US companies already use AI. That's a huge jump from just a few years ago. Jensen explains that the first wave of AI is software. Smarter search, better recommendations, personal assistance. The next wave will be digital workers, like marketing bots and coding assistants. After that comes physical AI, robots that understand real-world rules like gravity. It sounds wild, but it's happening. He also said demand for AI data centers is booming. NVIDIA's data center revenue just grew 427% year over year. Companies are building AI factories that turn electricity into intelligence, and NVIDIA is the one powering it all.
Last year, and I think we're teed up for some pretty great build-outs of these data centers to produce essentially what I call AI factories, which in the future will transform energy, if you will, into digital intelligence. And these digital intelligence, we call them tokens, but basically artificial intelligence. We've got several years, many years of build out to go. DeepSeek is fantastic. And in fact, what DeepSeek has done is it open sourced a new type of state-of-the-art AI model called reasoning models. Reasoning models are basically models that think. Instead of you asking the chatbot a question and it instantly spews out an answer, and it does a really good job doing it, but now the chatbot will break the question down step by step, reason about it. It might produce several different versions of it internally in its head, choose the best answer before it presents it to you. And so it turns out that these reasoning AI models has discovered a new scaling law, and a scaling law says the more compute you apply to thinking, the smarter the answer. And so it's exactly the opposite. What DeepSeek has done is actually opened up a whole new field that consumes an enormous amount of NVIDIA's computing capability. Just about every AI developer has now incorporated either R1 or technologies like R1, chain of thought and reinforcement learning and search and so on, to improve the quality of their answers. And so what really happened is that this new generation of AI models has caused demand to be really high. The papers of DeepSeek does a really good job describing the hardware that they used, and they used several generations of our older hardware, and they also used the hardware that is export controlled. The innovation of that team is really terrific. You have to give them credit. They found a way to develop algorithms and software that takes advantage of the computer. But in the end, that's really what computers engineers do. They're really smart about whatever computer you give it. It's a smartphone or a PC or an NVIDIA GPU or a game console or whatever it is that you give them. They're going to find a way to develop great software for it. So they're really good software engineers. Okay. The big idea is DeepSeek has opened up reasoning AI. The net of it all is if you look at where NVIDIA's computers are that are going to China today, and you compare it against what we just launched this quarter, this record-breaking quarter that we had with Grace Blackwell, the comparison of the technology, anywhere from 20 to 60 times higher performance is what we currently have in the United States. And so that every day that goes by, the export-controlled technology is further and further behind, if you will. In a lot of ways, it's another way of saying every day that goes by, we're making that technology slower and slower. And so I think the conversation is good, and we're happy to share with the administration everything that we know so that it can make the best decision. Every time you use ChatGPT, it already does reasoning, and you could see that the quality of the answers has improved tremendously. And so reasoning or long thinking allows it to break the problem down step by step. It process the problem. It might even come up with several examples or several answers internally in its mind. It'll select the best one before it presents it to you. And so the net answer is you're going to get AI that's smarter, present to you better answers, and it'll be a lot more useful. Wherever semiconductor takes us in the coming decades, there will be computers that has to be built. And whatever new technology comes along, I'm fairly certain we're either inventing it or using it to invent the future. So we're fairly clever about computers here, Liz, as you know, and we love our work here. And so whatever that future is, we're going to go help create it. The thing that's really cool about the latest developments of AI is it's opening up all kinds of new use cases. Digital AI research assistant in drug discovery, an AI scientist in helping us discover a new material for energy production. Maybe it's a new AI that's used to help us with manufacturing because we don't have enough workforce, and the workforce labor is the people in the workforce is reducing, and so all these different reasons, AI is going to help us be a lot more productive and create some pretty exciting things in the future.
You can tell Jensen Huang is excited. He says what DeepSeek is doing, teaching AI to actually think step by step instead of just blurting out answers, is a huge breakthrough. And honestly, it's already making a difference. You see it with ChatGPT's updates. answers are getting smarter, more detailed. Jensen explained that this new style of AI, called reasoning models, needs way more computing power. He's not exaggerating. According to OpenAI's own research, the amount of compute used to train models like GPT-4 has been doubling every 6 months. That's insane. And even with all the talk about China racing to catch up, Jensen made it clear, US AI chips are still way ahead. NVIDIA's latest chips deliver 20 to 60 times better performance than what's available for export to China, and that gap is growing wider every day. As for the future, Jensen basically said, whatever technology comes next, new chips, new systems, NVIDIA's ready to help build it. He's not worried. He's fired up.
The increased restriction has impacted our company significantly. Grown up in China, in fact. China has watched us grow in the last 30 years. Of course, it's a very large country. Our interactions and working and serving the Chinese companies here. And so it's made us both better. And so we're going to continue to make significant effort to optimize our products that are compliant with the regulations and continue to serve the Chinese market.
Now, the head of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, was in Beijing on Thursday, the latest twist in a roller coaster week for the world's third most valuable company. Not only did he meet Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng, the Financial Times says he also met with Liang Wenfeng, the founder of DeepSeek, the startup which shocked the world with its powerful AI model produced at a fraction of the usual cost. Well, France 24's tech editor Peter O'Brien joins us on set. Hi, Peter.
Okay.
So bring us up to speed on what led up to this visit.
It was looking pretty rosy for NVIDIA, all things considered, at the start of the week. The White House had just made it clear that semiconductors and other tech products would be exempt from their punishing tariffs on China. Great news, of course, for NVIDIA, which designs the chips that power the AI revolution. That's why it's become a $3 trillion company. Then on Monday, NVIDIA and partners announced plans for a $500 billion investment into AI hardware made in the USA. On Tuesday, NVIDIA revealed that the White House had indeed gone ahead with the restrictions and that it would be costing them about $5.5 billion each quarter. Then there was more bad news on Wednesday when US lawmakers opened an investigation into NVIDIA's sales to China. And we can unpack all of this with Emma Cosgrove. She's joining us now. She's Business Insider's senior reporter covering NVIDIA. Emma, thanks so much for joining us from New York.
There is a game going on right now, I would imagine. Obviously, I don't have inside knowledge from the company or the White House, but NVIDIA is in the middle of a lot of issues that both Congress and the president are very focused on. And I want to pick up on one thing that you mentioned earlier, which is the H20s. H20 chips are not outright banned. They now require an export license, which many analysts expect not to be granted. But I think the interesting dynamic there is that that puts the power in the administration's hand even more than a ban would. And so right now, I think both leaders, both Huang and Trump, are flexing, are trying to understand where their leverage is. And China is an incredibly important market for NVIDIA. And I think what NVIDIA is keen to point out is that that is unlikely to change, barring massive, very drastic export restrictions, which could happen next month. And they're supposed to come into effect May 15th. So the conversation with NVIDIA never ends. There's something every day, and there will be, I think, for the foreseeable future, because the list of countries to which chip exports are restricted will grow if that legislation or that regulation goes into place in full as conceived by the Biden administration. So far, the Trump administration hasn't touched it, but analysts are expecting that it will come up and maybe change. There's a second tier of countries in that AI diffusion policy, as it's called, that makes it even more alarming than just restricting China and Russia, which is what happened this week. There's the UAE, there's India, there's Saudi Arabia, all of which are very keen to buy accelerated computing chips. So there's a bigger fight coming here, and I think we're in the early stages, and that might be why there's a lot of posturing going on right now.
Jensen Huang has been explaining how AI is moving fast. Smarter models, huge demand, and NVIDIA's chips powering all of it. But right now, there's a big challenge. New U.S. restrictions are cutting off NVIDIA's sales to China, a country they've worked with for 30 years. The impact is massive. NVIDIA expects to lose about $5.5 billion every quarter. Even their special H20 chip, designed to meet earlier restrictions, now needs a license that most analysts say probably won't get approved. That's why Huang's recent visit to Beijing matters so much. He met with China's vice premier and DeepSeek's founder, the same DeepSeek that's pushing AI innovation with powerful, cheaper models. Huang's trying to keep NVIDIA close to the AI action in China, even under new rules. It ties back to what he said earlier. Smarter AI needs more computing, not less. And no matter the obstacles, NVIDIA is fighting to stay at the heart of this AI revolution, in the US, in China, and around the world.
Anyone using AI, we are focused on the productivity gains for knowledge workers, which are going to be massive. That's the biggest impact of AI. But if we're looking at sectors and spaces generally, where this acceleration in innovation is going to be meaningful, we think autonomous mobility, so robo-taxis. We think that's going to scale from essentially nothing now to an $8 to $10 trillion global opportunity, including China. But the sleeper here is healthcare. And we're seeing the convergence of sequencing technologies, all kinds of sequencing technologies, artificial intelligence, and then gene editing technology. I think Tesla is going to go national. That's going to be, and will be able to do so because it has effectively 7 million robots roaming the roads right now. I have 2 of them, a Y and a 3. And they're learning all about Connecticut and Florida roads. So it has a huge competitive advantage in terms of proprietary data that nobody else has about the roads, not only in the U.S., but in many places around the world. If you look at the way Elon Musk behaves as a CEO, he's a sharpshooter. He looks for pain points and he solves those. Right. And he's, for example, right now, in 2018, where was the biggest pain point? It was manufacturing the Model 3, scaling the Model 3. He slept famously on the factory floor. He's not doing that anymore. He's not on the factory floor. Now it's all about autonomous. He is the first, what we would call CEO who really understands the convergence among technologies taking place right now, really catalyzed by artificial intelligence, each one of his businesses. And he also understands how critically important proprietary data is. And think about this. Each of those companies is generating proprietary data that no one else has. One is our flagship that is focused on all 5 innovation platforms, so robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, multi-omic sequencing, and blockchain technology. We think inference is going to become more important with these new reasoning models, and that is a more competitive part of the market. But we think that what's happening here is the collapse in the cost of innovation. It has been happening, though. AI training costs have been dropping 75% per year. And AI inference costs have been dropping 85 to 90% per year, just putting those very rapid declines into a bit of overdrive here.
Tesla's full self-driving is about to level up faster than anyone expected. Today, NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang revealed a new AI breakthrough that could launch autonomous vehicles and robotics into a whole new era. Faster training, smarter decision-making, and mountains of new data are now possible. And it's going to change how quickly Tesla's FSD evolves. This is a massive moment for AI, for Tesla, and honestly, for the future of everything on wheels, and even on 2 legs. Let's hear exactly what he said.
The AV revolution has arrived. After so many years, with Waymo's success and Tesla's success, it is very, very clear autonomous vehicles has finally arrived. Well, our offering to this industry is the 3 computers, the training systems to train the AIs, the simulation systems, and the synthetic data generation systems, Omniverse and now Cosmos, and also the computer that's inside the car. Each car company might work with us in a different way, use 1 or 2 or 3 of the computers. We're working with just about every major car company around the world. Waymo and Zoox and Tesla, of course, in their data center. BYD, the largest EV company in the world. JLR's got a really cool car coming. Mercedes has a fleet of cars coming with NVIDIA starting this year, going to production. And I'm super, super pleased to announce that today, Toyota and NVIDIA are going to partner together to create their next generation AVs. Just so many cool companies, Lucid and Rivian and Xiaomi and of course Volvo, just so many different companies. Wabi is building self-driving trucks. Aurora, we announced this week also that Aurora is going to use NVIDIA to build self-driving trucks. Autonomous, 100 million cars built each year, a billion vehicles on the road all over the world, 1 trillion miles that are driven around the world each year. That's all going to be either highly autonomous or, fully autonomous coming up. And so this is going to be a very large industry. I predict that this will likely be the first multi-trillion-dollar robotics industry. This business for us, notice in just a few of these cars that are starting to ramp into the world, our business is already $4 billion, and this year probably on a run rate about $5 billion. So really significant business already. This is going to be very large. Well, today we're announcing that our next generation processor for the car, our next generation computer for the car is called Thor. I have one right here. Hang on a second. Okay, this is Thor. This is Thor. This is a robotics computer. This is a robotics computer. It takes sensors and just a madness amount of sensor information, process it, umpteen cameras, high resolution, radars, lidars, they're all coming into this chip. And this chip has to process all that sensor, turn them into tokens, put them into a transformer, and predict the next path. And this AV computer is now in full production. Thor is 20 times the processing capability of our last generation Orin, which is really the standard of autonomous vehicles today. And so this is just really quite incredible. Thor is in full production. This robotics processor, by the way, also goes into a full robot. And so it could be an AMR, it could be a humanoid robot, it could be the brain, it could be the manipulator. This processor basically is a universal robotics computer. The second part of our drive system that I'm incredibly proud of is the dedication to safety. Drive OS, I'm pleased to announce, is now the first software-defined programmable AI computer that has been certified up to ASIL D, which is the highest standard of...
It finally feels real. The AV revolution Jensen Huang talked about isn't just hype anymore. Tesla's success with FSD and now NVIDIA's new Thor chip show that fully autonomous driving is about to explode. Jensen said Thor has 20 times the power of their last chip, Orin. Which is crazy because Orin is already what Tesla and a lot of self-driving companies have been using. Imagine processing 20 times more data from cameras, LiDAR, radar, all at once, in real time. That's going to make Tesla's FSD faster, smarter, and way safer. Plus, NVIDIA isn't just working with Tesla. They're partnering with Toyota, Mercedes, Lucid, BYD, basically every major car company. And Thor isn't just for cars. It's designed to run robots too. And to top it off, their Drive OS just got the highest safety certification possible, ASIL-D. That's a huge deal when lives are literally at stake. Honestly, it feels like NVIDIA just lit a fire under the entire self-driving industry, and Tesla's FSD could leap way ahead because of it.
Okay, so now I told you I was going to show you what would we use Omniverse and Cosmos to do in the context of self-driving cars. And today, instead of showing you a whole bunch of videos of cars driving on the road, I'll show you some of that too. But I want to show you how we use the car to reconstruct digital twins automatically using AI and use that capability to train future AI models. Okay, let's play it. The autonomous vehicle revolution is here. Building autonomous vehicles, like all robots, requires 3 computers: NVIDIA DGX to train AI models, Omniverse to test drive and generate synthetic data, and Drive AGX, a supercomputer in the car. Building safe autonomous vehicles means addressing edge scenarios, but real-world data is limited, so synthetic data is essential for training. The Autonomous Vehicle Data Factory, powered by NVIDIA Omniverse, AI models, and Cosmos, generates synthetic driving scenarios that enhance training data by orders of magnitude. First, OmniMap fuses map and geospatial data to construct drivable 3D environments. Driving scenario variations can be generated from replayed drive logs or AI traffic generators. Next, a neural reconstruction engine uses autonomous vehicle sensor logs to create high-fidelity 4D simulation environments. It replays previous drives in 3D and generates scenario variations to amplify training data. Finally, Edify 3DS automatically searches through existing asset libraries or generates new assets to create sim-ready scenes. The Omniverse scenarios are used to condition Cosmos to generate massive amounts of photorealistic data, reducing the sim-to-real gap. And with text prompts, generate near infinite variations of the driving scenario. With Cosmos Nemotron Video Search, the massively scaled synthetic dataset, combined with recorded drives, can be curated to train models. NVIDIA's AI Data Factory scales hundreds of drives into billions of effective miles, setting the standard for safe and advanced autonomous driving. Isn't that incredible? We take thousands of drives and turn them into billions of miles. We are going to have mountains of training data for autonomous vehicles. Of course, we still need actual cars on the road. Of course, we will continuously collect data for as long as we shall live. However, synthetic data generation using this multiverse, physically based, physically grounded capability so that we generate data for training AIs that are physically grounded and accurate and or plausible so that we could have an enormous amount of data to train with. The AV industry is here. This is an incredibly exciting time, super excited.
When Jensen started talking about Omniverse and Cosmos, it really clicked how massive this shift is going to be. NVIDIA figured out a way to train self-driving AIs without waiting years for real-world driving miles. They can now recreate full cities in 3D, use past driving logs, and even have AI generate new traffic situations. It's like building a giant sandbox where Tesla and other companies can train their cars to handle anything. This matters because studies from Rand Corporation estimate a self-driving car would need to drive hundreds of millions to billions of miles to statistically prove it's safer than a human. Collecting that from real-world driving alone would take decades. With NVIDIA's system, they can compress that learning into months. That's why Jensen said they'll turn thousands of drives into billions of miles. Honestly, the amount of training data Tesla's FSD could tap into now is mind-blowing. It makes me think full self-driving might start improving at a pace we've never seen before. The way computer graphics exploded after GPUs got better, we might be about to see the same thing happen with autonomous driving.
I think the next part is robotics. So humanoid robots, my friends, The ChatGPT moment for general robotics is just around the corner. And in fact, all of the enabling technologies that I've been talking about is going to make it possible for us in the next several years to see very rapid breakthroughs, surprising breakthroughs in general robotics. Now, the reason why general robotics is so important is whereas robots with tracks and wheels require special environments to accommodate them, there are three robots in the world that we can make that require no green fields. Brownfield adaptation is perfect. If we could possibly build these amazing robots, we could deploy them in exactly the world that we've built for ourselves. These three robots are, one, agentic robots, and agentic AI, because they're information workers. So long as they could accommodate the computers that we have in our offices, it's going to be great. Number two, self-driving cars. And the reason for that is we spent 100 plus years building roads and cities. And then number three, humanoid robots. If we have the technology to solve these three, this will be the largest technology industry the world's ever seen. And so we think that the robotics era is just around the corner. The critical capability is how to train these robots. In the case of humanoid robots, the imitation information is rather hard to collect. And the reason for that is, in the case of car, you just drive it. We're driving cars all the time. In the case of these humanoid robots, the imitation information, the human demonstration is rather laborious to do. And so we need to come up with a clever way to take hundreds of demonstrations, thousands of human demonstrations, and somehow use artificial intelligence and Omniverse to synthetically generate millions of synthetically generated motions. And from those motions, the AI can learn how to perform a task. Let me show you how that's done. Developers around the world are building the next wave of physical, AI-embodied robots, humanoids. Developing general-purpose robot models requires massive amounts of real-world data, which is costly to capture and curate. NVIDIA Isaac GR00T helps tackle these challenges, providing humanoid robot developers with four things: robot foundation models, data pipelines, simulation frameworks, and a Thor robotics computer. The NVIDIA Isaac GR00T blueprint for synthetic motion generation is a simulation workflow for imitation learning, enabling developers to generate exponentially large datasets from a small number of human demonstrations. First, GR00T Teleop enables skilled human workers to portal into a digital twin of their robot using the Apple Vision Pro. This means operators can capture data even without a physical robot, and they can operate the robot in a risk-free environment, eliminating the chance of physical damage or wear and tear. To teach a robot a single task, operators capture motion trajectories through a handful of teleoperated demonstrations, then use GR00T Mimic to multiply these trajectories into a much larger dataset. Next, they use GR00T Gen, built on Omniverse and Cosmos for domain randomization and 3D to real upscaling. Generating
Jensen's last announcement about robotics honestly feels like a glimpse into the future. He said the ChatGPT moment for general-purpose robots is coming soon, and I believe him. Everything NVIDIA's been building, Thor, Omniverse, Cosmos, it's all coming together to train human-like robots way faster than we ever thought possible. The thing that stood out to me is how hard it is to train robots compared to self-driving cars. We have millions of hours of people driving, but barely any data of humans doing everyday motions that a robot would need to copy. That's where Isaac GR00T comes in. Developers can use just a few real demonstrations, and NVIDIA's system explodes that into millions of synthetic movements, safely in a simulation without risking damage to the real robots. It's important because real-world robotics training is expensive and dangerous. A study from Stanford showed that robot failure rates are still really high in early physical trials. Up to 30% of tasks failed without good training. Groot shortcuts that by simulating tons of variations until the robot gets it, all before it ever touches the real world. Watching this, it really feels like Tesla's Optimus project is about to get a major boost. If Tesla taps into NVIDIA's new systems, we could see useful human-like robots way sooner than anyone expected. I think this could be even bigger than autonomous cars over the next decade. The future we've been waiting for is finally taking shape. And Tesla's full self-driving might be the first to show just how far this new AI power can take us. It's going to be wild watching how fast things move from here. If you're excited to see what's next and you want to keep up with all the breakthroughs, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We're just getting started, and you won't want to miss what's coming.
So you guys may have noticed I snuck a peek back at the shelf a moment ago. I wasn't paying attention, but let's see if Gemini was. Hey, did you happen to catch the title of the white book that was on the shelf behind me?
The white book is Atomic Habits by James Clear.
That is absolutely right. So let's try something harder. I keep losing my hotel key card. Do you know where I last left the card?
The hotel key card is to the right of the music record.
Great.
All right, I've been thinking about what Google just announced, and I don't think most people are fully catching it. They're calling it Android XR. At first glance, it just sounds like some new headset or smart glasses. But the more I listened, the more I realized this isn't about hardware. This is Google quietly stepping beyond the screen, not upgrading your phone, replacing it. We've lived inside rectangles for decades. Phones, laptops, TVs, it's all been screen-based. Google's saying that era's over. With Android XR, the goal is to move computing into your space. Glasses you wear all day. Headsets that let AI understand what you're looking at, what you're saying, even what you might want before you ask. And yeah, it's impressive. Gemini, their latest AI, isn't just part of the system. It is the system. It reacts, predicts, guides. You ask where to eat, it knows. You're watching a game, it explains the play. It's smooth, fast, probably going to feel like magic. But keep in mind, just because it feels natural doesn't mean it is harmless. Google's pushing this idea that headsets are for moments, and glasses are for your whole day. That's not just a design choice, that's a behavior shift. If this works, Google won't just be something you check. It'll be something that surrounds you, something that shapes how you see the world. And that changes everything. They've rebuilt Chrome for XR. They're relaunching YouTube with immersive formats. Developers are getting new tools to bring their apps into this environment. It's not a side project. It's a platform, a new default, and I get why they're doing it now. Gemini finally gives them the AI power that Glass never had. This time, the tech actually works. But the questions haven't gone away. If Gemini becomes your interface to the world, how much of that world is being filtered, nudged, predicted, without you even realizing it? I'm not saying it's all bad. There's a lot of potential here. But when the core of it, Gemini, stays in Google's hands, it's worth asking, how much control are we giving up for the convenience? So yeah, this looked like a product launch. But it feels more like Google trying to rewrite the rules of how we interact with reality. Let's break it down.
This AI is inherently multimodal, so it's using visual data and natural language to digest complex queries in real time, while remembering your past context. Nishta, let's see some more.
Yeah, let's bring this book back. So I don't really have time to read it right now, but I wonder if Gemini might be able to help me summarize what's going on. Like, I don't know, what does this diagram mean? It looks complex.
This diagram is labeled the habit line and illustrates the process of habit formation. It shows how automaticity increases with repetitions until a habit is formed.
Okay.
Now, imagine being able to communicate and understand any language. The AI can shift its output to speak different languages with dialects and accents that feel human and natural.
Yeah, let's go to this sign over here. Can you translate this to English for me?
The sign states private property, no trespassing.
Okay, let's prove this is a live demo. Does anyone in the audience have a suggestion for a different language to translate to?
Farsi.
Farsi. We tried Farsi, it failed last time, but let's try it again.
Do you want to try Farsi? We could try Thai. Okay.
Because I do speak Farsi, so it's my mother tongue, so thank you.
Gemini, let's just give this a shot. Can you translate this sign to Farsi for us?
املاک خصوصی تجاوز نکنید.
Great, awesome. It speaks Farsi.
That's amazing. So as Sharon mentioned, you all may have seen translation demos like this before, but what's new now is that in addition to just saying things in a different language, I can also speak to Gemini in another language. I know Hindi, so let's give this a shot. अच्छा, क्या आप मुझे बता सकते हो ये लोग अभी कैसे लग रहे हैं?
वे अभी एकाग्र और उत्साहित दिख रहे हैं.
So Gemini said you all look focused and excited, and it has a better accent than I do.
Why would you say now is the right moment to launch XR?
Yeah, so for pretty much the history of computing, we've been using the rectangular box of a screen display. Whether it's monitors, laptops, tablets, or phones, XR has the power to extend beyond those boundaries.
I think now is the perfect time to work on XR because you have a convergence of all these technologies, and Gemini is key to powering Android XR.
It's the first Android platform built entirely for the Gemini era, for both headsets and glasses. With advances in AI and an amazing ecosystem of device and developer partners, we believe the time for XR is now. We've been building Android XR hand in hand with Samsung, working on both software and hardware together.
But now, we are at a crossroad where the newest cutting-edge XR technology meets multimodal AI, which understand what you see and what you say. So you can just talk to a device as if you are talking to someone in the physical world. This is the next generation UI of XR. Imagine being immersed in a world that understands you and responds to your every interaction, whether through your hands, eyes, or voice. The time is now. Technology is here. With the Android XR, it is all coming together.
Let's not pretend the timing here is random. Google could have launched XR a year ago, or waited 2 more, but they chose now. Why? Because they finally have the one thing their early attempts lacked: a competent AI engine. That's what Gemini is. And that's why this is a platform revealed in disguise. When they talk about moving past the rectangular box of a screen, it sounds poetic, but underneath that line is an admission. Screen-based interfaces are maxed out. We've hit a saturation point. The next frontier is making them disappear. And the only way to do that is to shift the entire user experience away from screens and into space. It's a quiet attempt to redefine what Android means when it's no longer inside your phone.
We're getting started today with headsets. They're a great entry point for Android XR, and if you build for headsets, you'll be laying the foundation for other form factors that follow later. That will include glasses for Android XR. These will be designed for all-day wear. They're a natural form factor for AI, providing real-time helpful information when you need it. If you build for Android, you're already building for Android XR. Entertainment comes to life with YouTube and Google TV in totally immersive environments. Photo and video captured in 2D can be converted into a 3D memory for you to experience again and again with Google Photos. With Chrome on XR, you have an infinite, unbounded workspace.
And with Google's groundbreaking multimodal AI that understands context, we completely transform the meaning of natural interaction. The first device we designed for Android XR platform is the headset. We see headset as a great starting point because they have unique capabilities that unlock a whole new way to interact with the technology. I'm very excited to present the first device designed for Android XR. Codename Project Muhan. Muhan means infinity in Korean, because XR will deliver unparalleled immersive experiences in a truly infinite space.
We're thrilled to show you live what it's like to experience Android XR and some of the capabilities of the platform. Hey Gemini, can you show me VR 180 videos of this place?
Sure, I can help with that.
We're incredibly excited for Gemini on Android XR that will power a new type of conversational multimodal experience.
Designed by Filippo Brunelleschi. It's one of the largest brick domes ever constructed, and a masterpiece of Renaissance architecture.
Okay, this is amazing. I definitely have to visit here, but I want to find some restaurants nearby.
I'm sure we could find a place in New York. Maybe we could take the team here tonight if you're feeling seafood.
Hey Gemini, can you take me to this restaurant?
Sure, I can take you to the Clam in New York.
The underlying technology allows us to process inputs from all different kinds of signals, much like you process the real world.
The magical thing about XR is that it's moving computing to a place that's truly as natural as you can imagine it.
Android XR is our new platform for headsets and glasses. It offers some of the best tools for developers to use, and it reduces a lot of the friction.
What's quietly revolutionary here is the way Google frames XR as an environment, not a feature. By saying it can process signals like you process the real world, they're implying a system that listens, watches, and reacts constantly. That's omnipresence. The problem? No one's really asking for that. Google's betting that if they can make the interface seamless enough, if it just feels like magic, then we'll skip right over the privacy questions. But that assumption is risky. Passive interfaces don't just require trust. They demand it. And unless Gemini can prove that it's more than just another data-hungry observer, people may reject this vision before it even leaves beta. Still, if they pull it off, Android XR becomes the new default layer for everyday computing. Not because people asked for it, but because it just sort of showed up and worked.
Today, we're excited to launch the developer preview of the Android XR SDK. You'll have endless opportunities to create and develop for this computing platform, using familiar tools and open standards created for XR. For Android developers, we're extending the tools and frameworks like Android Studio and our Jetpack libraries to XR. And for Unity developers, we'll support Unity's editor and popular XR packages. You'll be able to share your apps the same way you always have as we open the Play Store to XR. Now, you're probably wondering, how does this all work with existing apps and games? They'll be available on Android XR out of the box, and your existing compatible apps can work without any additional effort. Our APIs, tools, and guidance for building for XR are available today.
As a developer, I'm thrilled to introduce YouTube on Android XR. We've redesigned our app from the ground up with immersive video formats, spatial audio, and a vast content library. XR opens up new ways to watch. YouTube leverages Android XR's unique capabilities to deliver an unparalleled immersive viewing experience. Users can enjoy both 2D and spatial content with support for pass-through and immersive environments. We're breaking content outside the rectangle and into the world around you.
We believe Android XR with Unity will drive a new era of XR adoption and experiences. Starting today, you'll have access to the public experimental version of Android XR to start building your apps and games in the Unity engine. We're taking our mixed reality tools and capabilities to the next level with Unity 6.
We've been in this space since Google Glass, and we have not stopped. Things like AR Core, the Geospatial API, Lens, Live View, Translate, and now Gemini.
We can take those experiences, which already work great, and find new ways to be helpful for people.
When we talk about headsets and glasses, we think about headsets as episodic products that you put on for a specific reason.
When you're watching the game, Gemini could break down everything about Freddy's Grand Slam.
Here's where things get especially strategic. Google reminds us they've been in this space since Google Glass, but they don't dwell on it. Why? Because Glass was a failure, but it was also a foundation. The tech didn't work, but the concept did. Fast forward a decade and every piece of that ecosystem, AR Core, Live View, Lens, is back. This time propped up by something Glass never had. AI that actually understands context. Then there's Gemini. It's not just plugging into XR, it is XR. When they say it can tell you about a baseball grand slam while you're watching it, it's predictive computing. The system is learning what to say before you ask. Whether that's helpful or unsettling depends on how deeply you trust Google to filter your reality.
6 years ago, we launched AR Core. Since then, you've amazed us with what you've built on the world's largest AR platform, now on over 1 billion Android devices. You've reimagined how your users connect, watch, learn, play, and work. 2 years ago, we launched the AR Core Geospatial API, opening up new possibilities for large-scale, location-anchored AR experiences. We've seen thousands of developers using this to create helpful and engaging journeys for their users, and we're taking the next step to build a unified platform for the future of XR. Today, we're excited to launch the developer preview of the Android XR SDK. You'll have endless opportunities to create and develop for this computing platform, using familiar tools and open standards created for XR. As a developer, I'm really excited about this.
I'm constantly in search of new technologies and new ways to entertain, inspire, and to tell stories, to create groundbreaking experiences for people. That's why I'm thrilled to announce our most exciting project to date, Asteroid. It's an immersive, interactive film app that's launching on Android XR.
As very early advocates for XR and the transition from 2D screens to spatial computing, we understand the unique challenges in building for these devices. We are thrilled that Spaces developers will now be able to seamlessly transition their apps to Android XR while continuing to support existing Snapdragon Spaces devices. We look forward to working with Google to extend Android XR platform to more OEM partners, leaders like Lynx, Sony, and XReal, all powered by Snapdragon, to achieve scale and reach its full potential.
Visceral incarnation of any 3D space or spatial environment you could think of.
I can't wait to spatialize old videos. It'll feel like you're right in your memories again.
And then we think about glasses as all-day products that you use to get value throughout your day.
Our technology really enables us to shrink down the displays that go into the glasses.
We'll see more of these highly portable devices that will more and more look like the ones I'm wearing right now.
This quietly draws a line in the sand between headsets and glasses, and it's more philosophical than it sounds. Headsets are opt-in. You wear them with intent. But glasses? Glasses are ambient, persistent. They don't interrupt your day, they live inside it. And that's the angle Google's really going for here. XR glasses aren't for escaping reality, they're for layering it. They're betting people will wear something that doesn't just show you information, but interprets the world for you. That's the future of perception. Even the throwaway line about spatializing old videos reveals a huge ambition: memory manipulation. If Gemini can reconstruct your past in immersive environments, what does that mean for how we experience history or trauma or nostalgia? They're psychological experiments.
With glasses, you'll feel like you're a local, no matter where you are.
There's no way we could build this platform other than collaborating very closely. We've been working with Samsung for a number of years, and so we look for opportunities where we could really marry each other's strength in creating something new.
This might seem minor, but it reveals everything about Google's design philosophy. When they talk about shrinking the displays and wanting devices that look like the ones I'm wearing now, they're framing invisibility as innovation. Think about it. Apple made a spectacle of Vision Pro. Google is trying to do the opposite. They want their XR system to vanish into your face. Not because it's modest, but because it's strategic. The less people notice the tech, the more naturally it embeds into routine. And once it's there, it's very hard to remove. Even their claim that glasses will help you feel like a local anywhere hints at a kind of algorithmic empathy. Your AI doesn't just speak the language. It interprets tone, reads signs, decodes culture. At least that's the dream. The problem is, dreams like that often come with surveillance.
From software and UX to hardware, cross-functional partners across both companies have worked seamlessly around the clock as one team to build a powerful XR platform.
We've learned that we can build the best platforms with an ecosystem of developers, designers, and device makers.
A lot of deep collaboration happens for us to bring the best solution to the ecosystem, to the platform, and to the users.
Alone, you can go fast, but together you can go far.
And the only way we'll get there is if we build this together.
And now we get to the alliance, the part Google always keeps quiet until they need scale. Samsung is the bridge to the mass market. If you want XR to work on a global level, you can't build it alone. And Google knows this. That's why they're showing their hand here. The language is careful, cross-functional, ecosystem, collaboration, but make no mistake, this is a supply chain moment. The XR platform they're describing is an infrastructure project, one that spans design, chipsets, sensors, and AI models that have to run seamlessly across devices made by different companies. But here's the real kicker. For all the talk of community and collaboration, what Google's building is closed. Gemini doesn't belong to the world. It belongs to Google. So even as they open source parts of Android XR, the brain behind it will always be theirs. So let's cut through the marketing. This wasn't an announcement about glasses. It was a reveal of Google's attempt to redefine the rules of engagement for computing itself. By combining spatial interfaces with Gemini, Google is trying to control the platform that mediates your entire day. From translation to memory, from navigation to behavior. What makes it unexpected is how quietly they dropped it. No flashy stage, no bombastic demos. Just a low-key rollout of something that, if it works, could turn your next pair of glasses into the most powerful and invisible computer you own. Whether that future is exciting or dystopian depends on how you feel about an AI system that watches, listens, and helps. All the time. Thanks for watching. If this breakdown helped you see the bigger picture, give it a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. We've got more deep dives coming soon.
One top executive from OpenAI says that they'd be interested in buying Google's Chrome browser if regulators make Google sell it. Well, that came out during testimony at Google's big antitrust trial. A judge already ruled last year that Google has a monopoly in online search and ads. Well, Google hasn't offered to sell Chrome, and they are planning to fight any ruling that forces them to.
Some mechanics around that on the Chrome side. Didn't seem like there was much of a bidder, but OpenAI wants to bid for that. I think that just shows you how these two companies are fighting for the consumer. That's the bid on Chrome. So, Karen, I think that there are opportunities to kind of spin these out.
OpenAI was first to raise their hand about, hey, we'll buy Chrome.
That made me crack up.
Let's hand the prior monopoly's most important asset to the new upcoming monopoly and let them get even bigger. That would be the last possible thing that you would want to happen. All of distribution and all of identity are consolidated in a very small number of places. And you've even got people like Elon, who's a tech person, over there in the government trying to consolidate data systems, consolidate your social security records with your IRS records. They're basically trying to become another identity player in this game.
So here's the headline that caught everyone off guard. OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, says they'd be interested in buying Google Chrome if the government forces Google to sell it. Now let's pause for a second. This isn't some rumor or clickbait. This came straight from the courtroom. Nick Turley, OpenAI's head of product, made that statement while testifying on behalf of the US government in a major antitrust trial against Google. The case is focused on one thing: whether Google's control over online search is so extreme that it's choking out competition and innovation. And that's where Chrome comes in. Chrome isn't just a browser. It's the most used gateway to the internet, used by nearly 2/3 of all internet users. That's billions of people. And because it's tied directly to Google Search, Google Ads, YouTube, and their AI product Gemini, It's part of a much bigger ecosystem. Whoever controls Chrome doesn't just control a browser. They control access to the flow of information and, let's be real, a ton of money. That's why this move from OpenAI feels so bold. It's not just a casual interest, it's a signal. OpenAI wants to go from building the tools that live inside the internet to owning the front door itself. Now, to be fair, Google has no plans to sell. In fact, they've pushed back hard, saying they'll fight any ruling that tries to force them. But just the fact that Chrome is even being discussed as a possible asset to break off tells you how serious this trial is, and how real the threat is to Google's dominance. Now, from OpenAI's perspective, this makes perfect sense. Turley even admitted they reached out to Google last year to try and license their search technology for ChatGPT. They wanted to improve their responses by giving ChatGPT access to Google's index. But Google shut it down. So now OpenAI's thinking, if we can't partner with you, maybe we'll just take the whole browser when the chance comes. But here's where it gets tricky. Let's say Google is forced to sell. Are we solving the monopoly problem, or just handing it to another player? That's what some people are worried about. You're taking control away from a dominant search company and giving it to a dominant AI company. That's not exactly decentralizing power. It's just reshuffling it. Still, this tells us a lot about the direction OpenAI wants to go. This isn't just about answering questions better. It's about controlling how people access the internet in the first place. And if that doesn't make you rethink the future of tech, I don't know what will. But all of this leads to one big question. Why is Google even on trial in the first place? Why is the government trying to break them up? And what exactly did Google do that could put Chrome on the chopping block?
Federal judge ruled that it holds an illegal monopoly in some online advertising markets. Deirdre Bosa digging into what it means for the tech giant in today's Tech Check. Some more antitrust problems for Google.
More antitrust, and so you would be forgiven for losing track of all the different lawsuits and pressures that Google is facing. It is a lot. The latest ruling to come down, it centers on the ad tech case, and it opens the door for a forced breakup of Google's ad business, something regulators have been after for years. Now, ads, of course, still very much the bread and butter of Alphabet, making up some 75% of total revenue. So breaking up the ad tech stack, that represents a direct threat to the financial foundation of the company itself. Now, Google in a statement says, quote, "We disagree with the court's decision regarding our publisher tools. Publishers have many options and they choose Google because our ad tech tools are simple, affordable, and effective." But key here, this is now the second active case where U.S. courts could force Google to sell off key assets. Next week, the remedy trial gets underway in the online search case where the DOJ is pushing for a breakup of Google's Chrome browser, key to its ecosystem. Now, it's not just the U.S. coming for Google either. It's Europe, China, Japan. They have all opened up cases, making the pressure global and the stakes even higher. To be sure, it will take months, potentially years, for remedies or fines to flow through. But something we often talk about is that regulatory scrutiny, it diverts resources, talent, attention away from the core, like we saw Microsoft decades ago. And Google's core right now is a once-in-a-generation opportunity, artificial intelligence. Google is still seen as playing catch-up, and the race is only speeding up. A bright spot, perhaps, though, is that Google has notched a number of wins in recent months with Gemini and its different integrations. It doesn't seem like regulation has thrown off its focus quite yet. Valuation, though, that's another story. Google still holds the lowest earnings multiple of the Mag 7. Investors seeing regulatory threat as very real, and that makes an impact. In fact, tech is not getting any kind of regulatory break in the second Trump administration, as many had hoped. We talked about this last hour. FTC versus Meta, that's moving forward, threatening to split off Instagram and WhatsApp. Guys, the charm offensive from mega cap CEOs leading up to the second Trump administration.
The judge has given a partial ruling. So in some areas, yes, it says that Google has a monopoly in advertising tech markets, not in others. What is the language the judge used? What do we know?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Ed. The judge is finding that Google has violated the Sherman Antitrust Act, Section 2 of it specifically, by willfully, and this is the judge's words, acquiring and maintaining monopoly power in the open web display publisher ad server market and the open web display ad exchange market. So servers and exchanges are what they have found to violate antitrust laws here. And the judge goes on to say that the court is going to be setting a briefing schedule and a hearing date to determine the appropriate remedies for these antitrust violations. It becomes a question, of course, of what those remedies are, knowing that this is not the first antitrust difficulty that Alphabet is facing, as Google already was found in a separate case to have also monopolized the search market, and the Justice Department is looking for a spin-off of its Chrome browser, specifically in a case related to search. So it becomes a question of whether or not there may be advertising portions of Google's business that also will be looking at spinning off. If that is what the U.S. pursues, the judge is going to consider all avenues. But the point here, Ed, is this is a second big loss for Google in the courts, as they have been found to violate antitrust rules when it comes to ad exchanges and servers. The judge did not find justification of a monopoly for a third market of tools that is used by advertisers to buy display ads, but still on 2 out of 3, essentially, the judge has ruled against this giant technology company.
So after hearing that OpenAI might want to buy Chrome, you might be wondering, why is that even on the table? Why would Google ever have to give up something that important? The short answer? The US government is taking Google to court over monopoly power. Again. And this time, they're playing for keeps. Let's break it down. Right now, Google is at the center of not one, but 2 major antitrust cases. In one case, the Department of Justice is going after its advertising business, the backbone of Google's revenue. Ads account for roughly 75% of Alphabet's income, so any threat to that ecosystem is a direct hit to the company's financial core. A judge already ruled that Google holds an illegal monopoly in certain ad markets, specifically the display ad server and exchange systems. That alone would be enough to keep most companies on defense. But here's where it gets even bigger. The second case, the one we're focused on, targets Google's dominance in search and the tools it uses to maintain that dominance, like the Chrome browser. Think about it. Chrome isn't just how people browse the web, it's how they get to Google search. And Google has spent years locking in that position. They've made billion-dollar deals with Apple, Samsung, and others to ensure their search engine is the default. That's key because, as Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said under oath, defaults are everything. Most people never change them, so when the DOJ argues that Google is using Chrome to unfairly maintain control of the search market, it's not a fringe theory, it's strategy. Google controls the browser, they control the search, they control the ads that appear once you search. That's an entire funnel, and here's the kicker. A federal judge has already ruled that Google did violate antitrust law in search, just like it did in ads. We are now in the remedy phase, meaning the court isn't deciding if Google is guilty, it's deciding what to do about it. And that's how we got to this moment. The idea of forcing Google to sell Chrome as a remedy. Now, from Google's side, they're pushing back hard. Their attorneys say they won their place in the market fair and square, and they argue that forcing a breakup would hurt users, limit innovation, and even threaten America's tech leadership globally. They've also warned that it could force them to share private user data with competitors, something that opens up a whole new privacy debate. And they're not wrong to be worried, because it's not just the US anymore. Europe, Japan, and even China are lining up with similar cases. The pressure is global, and it's growing. But let's be honest, Google didn't get here by accident. When you have over 90% of the global search market, and when you're paying billions just to keep it that way, it's hard to argue that the playing field has been fair for smaller competitors. And now that we're in the AI era, the stakes are even higher. The DOJ is worried that Google could use its head start in AI, through Gemini and deep integration into its products, to push even further ahead and lock out competitors before they even get a chance.
Nice. The idea of seeing a robot interact with the world, there's not a person controlling it, yet it's doing all these things. That is the most exciting type of intelligence. I'm a PhD student at Georgia Tech. I work on problems at the intersection of computer vision and robotics, answering the question, how can humans teach robots how to do things by using data that has been captured from an egocentric perspective?
We are trying to use what we call human data. We capture how humans interact with the world, and that data gets used to train a robot. We can actually capture this kind of data with Aria glasses.
It really checked the boxes, which is it's recording a front-facing RGB image, it's tracking your hands in 3D space, and it's localizing the glasses.
It actually captures the environment, builds a map, and knows precisely where the glass is at any given moment.
We have tried to make this an out-of-the-box solution. That means you can put them on, pair your glasses with the companion app, and start recording data right away without writing any code. We look at Aria as an investment in the research community. What personally motivates me is to see the creativity of how these researchers are solving problems.
Oh, stuck. Let the people feel the pain of roboticists.
Research partners give us feedback, and we can turn around new features pretty quickly. The most surprising thing was to see Aria mounted on a robot, but I think it was quite genius.
Robotics is a real-time problem. Real-time recognition of behaviors and the surrounding environment is fundamental to robotics. Aria is such a small form factor, we can just put it on the robot and have it directly control its own body by looking at the world through Aria glasses.
Georgia Tech made use of the Aria Client SDK, which allows them to directly stream data from the Aria glasses to a machine that can then do inference with a trained model directly from the sensor stream.
This system is a really natural way to collect data that is useful for robotics. I think a lot of people were really excited about this because the promise of scale is much higher than anything else.
The more that the egocentric research community standardizes, the more researchers will be able to collaborate. It's really through scaling with the community like this, collectively we can start to solve bigger problems around how things are going to work in the future.
When more people can collect this kind of data without conscious effort, we can cover a broad range of scenarios and tasks. That type of diversity at such a rich sensor level is dream come true.
Meta's Aria. Two glasses represent a leap toward a future where artificial intelligence is deeply embedded in the physical world. And with advancements like this, we're starting to see a pivotal moment in robotics, one that transcends the traditional limitations of how we think about machines. What we're seeing here is a fundamental shift in how machines will interact with the world around them. The concept of egocentric data collection is revolutionary because it's about creating a feedback loop where the machine learns to understand the world through human-like perspectives. It's almost as if we're teaching robots to see the world the way we do, tracking hand movements, localizing their position in space, and adapting to changing environments in real time. What's exciting here is that it's something we're beginning to implement today, with Meta's Aria glasses already laying the groundwork. But what does this really mean for us? Well, the reality of it is that Aria glasses are turning the tables on traditional robotics. Traditionally, we have robots that are reliant on predetermined programming, but now, with Aria, we're seeing the beginning of truly autonomous machines. When you can capture the world through these glasses, creating a continuous stream of data that robots can immediately react to, you create an intelligence that's dynamic and responsive, not static. Take the example of Georgia Tech's collaboration using Aria glasses. The way this data is streamed and then immediately processed by machines for real-time decision-making is key to the next generation of robotics. The traditional method of data collection in robotics was clunky and often too abstract. But now, with the Aria system, we've reached a point where machines are getting smarter in real time, learning from their environment as it changes and making decisions on the fly. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The vision for these glasses isn't just to serve elite researchers. By designing this technology to be out-of-the-box ready, Meta has effectively opened the doors for anyone to contribute to this evolving ecosystem. This kind of accessibility in data collection is vital because it means the global research community can now play a part in refining and enhancing robotic capabilities. The more diverse the data, the more robust the model, and that in turn accelerates progress in real-world applications, from autonomous vehicles to industrial automation.
With Project Aria, we reimagined a wearable device with a sensor suite that could perceive as you perceive, and in doing so enables the development of a new generation of artificial intelligence that has a better understanding of who you are and makes possible new advancements in robotics. Project Harrier, from the outset, was designed to begin a revolution around always-on, human-centric computing. We're excited to announce the next step in our journey, the second generation of Harrier glasses.
With Gen 2 glasses, we are building AI capabilities with a deeper understanding of the wearer's context and the environment.
Harrier Gen 2 is the perfect tool for researchers pushing the boundaries of AI and AR.
What you see here is the same as this. We have upgraded the sensor suite with additional computer vision camera for enhanced location and embodied tracking. We have increased battery capacity by over 40% without a weight increase. The device features a contact microphone and spatial microphones. It can distinguish between your voice and those of bystanders. Harrier Gen 2 determines your location, both indoors and outdoors. Advanced eye tracking camera tracks your gaze to understand what you're looking at and tracks your hand to identify the object you interact with, all while monitoring your heart rate for a comprehensive understanding of your well-being.
To introduce the ability to process a lot of the signals on the device in real time.
As soon as you do that, you move away from the context of data collection and processing later.
Then we can start to interact with the user, not just research what might be possible, but actually experience it.
Help me pick up some red onions.
Taking you to red onions. Red onions are here.
Very important parts of Project Harrier has been building partnerships with companies and academic research labs that have reach far beyond our own.
We stay committed to research processes that safeguard personal information. The journey with second-gen Harrier glasses is just the beginning.
Imagine what the research community can achieve with a device that closes the gap between machine and human perception. Together, we can unlock an understanding of what it is to experience reality as we do.
We often think of technology as something that enhances our lives in obvious ways. Faster computers, sleeker phones, better entertainment. But there's another layer to innovation that we rarely stop to appreciate. The ways in which technology can fundamentally reshape how we experience the world, especially for those with disabilities. The Harrier Gen 2 glasses are a perfect example of this deeper impact. For individuals like Sharon Giovinazzo, who lost her vision at 31, this technology is restoring a sense of independence that most of us take for granted. Imagine for a moment losing your sight and the profound effect it has on your daily life. Beyond the obvious physical challenges, there's the loss of autonomy, the constant need for assistance, and the barriers that arise in what should be mundane tasks. Sharon's journey through the grocery store is a personal triumph of doing something so simple, yet so profound, doing it on her own terms. The Harrier Gen 2 glasses are bridging the gap between disability and ability in ways we've never seen before. And that's where the real power of this technology lies. The addition of spatial audio is a fundamental shift in how we think about location-based navigation. Traditional sound cues might tell you something is to your left or right, but spatial audio places the sound in a specific space, almost as if you're hearing the world the way it was meant to be heard, naturally and contextually. This is crucial because navigating a store, for someone with limited vision, is about knowing exactly where to go, feeling confident that the directions are accurate, and having the freedom to make independent choices. The Harrier glasses take something as simple as picking apples, something that most of us don't think twice about, and make it an exercise in empowerment. The glasses provide her with the information she needs in real time, from the variety of apples available to confirmation that she's holding the correct one.
A woman wearing glasses stands in front of the checkout counters in a grocery store holding a basket on her arm. Sharon Giovinazzo, CEO, Lighthouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired San Francisco.
You know, it's one of those things that you don't know what you got till it's gone. And that was kind of the case with my vision when I lost it at 31.
She navigates through the grocery store.
The challenges that we face, you know, just simply with visual navigation, you lose a level of independence with that.
She holds the leash of a service dog while walking towards an aisle. Karthik Mahadevan, CEO CEO, Envision.
For a lot of people who are blind and have a low vision, independence almost always meant access to information.
A pair of glasses separates to reveal each individual component.
Aria enables us to combine technologies like artificial intelligence and spatial audio that make the visual world accessible for people who are blind or have a low vision. It was amazing to see how a lot of our feedback was incorporated in building a Gen 2 device, and also by keeping accessibility as one of the focus points.
Prince Gupta, Research Product Manager, Meta.
This is a truly collaborative effort between Envision, Lighthouse San Francisco, and Meta.
Prince and others gather around a laptop computer inside the grocery store.
We really want to go out and co-design with the community and try to learn from their experience. They actually want to try out these technologies. They're really excited.
Sharon and Prince speak to one another in the produce section.
Sharon has been testing these features, giving us early feedbacks. GPS just doesn't work indoors. We need a different mapping and navigation technology.
Owen Brimajoin, Research Scientist, Reality Labs Research, Meta.
Usually when you listen to sounds over headphones, they'll sound like they're inside your head. Spatial audio is a technology that lets you play sounds over headphones that seem like they're coming from a real location out in the world. And all you have to do is follow that sound.
Sharon walks through the grocery store wearing the glasses.
You put the glasses on and you just talk to it like you talk to a friend.
Hey Meta, help me pick up some apples.
Certainly. Follow the sound to locate the apples in the store.
Sharon follows the sound.
It'll start playing a beacon sound from the location within the store.
The glasses can actually map as they are being used.
We can allocate different points and label it with items that should be there in that space.
Sharon approaches bins filled with apples.
Apples are here.
You can ask any kind of a question.
What apples are here?
They have Granny Smith, Cosmic Crisp, and Honey Crisp apples.
I'll get Granny Smith apples. Help me pick up red onions.
Taking you to red onions.
Sharon and her service dog walk towards the sound. They reach the onions.
Red onions are here.
Is this a red onion?
She holds up an onion in front of the glasses.
Yes, this is a red onion in your hand.
Just to have the freedom to walk into a grocery store and navigate to what I wanted. It was efficient, it was fast, it was just amazing. That's all I need today. Take me to the checkout counter?
Sure, guiding you to the checkout.
Sharon hands her basket to the employee at the checkout counter.
This isn't ready to ship out the door this second. But what's exciting is for how many people this appears to be working really well.
Without these partners, we would have not been able to do what we did today.
The employee hands Sharon her bag of groceries.
Thank you. Have a great day.
When we look at someone like Sharon, pick the groceries that she wants on her own, that emotion is incredible.
And that's a wrap. It's incredible to see how these innovations are not just changing lives, but reshaping the way we think about independence and autonomy. The future is looking more inclusive, and it's exciting to witness these advancements firsthand. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share it with anyone who might be inspired by this breakthrough in tech. Make sure to subscribe to stay updated with more in-depth analyses and updates on the latest innovations shaping our world.
Project Aria is a research effort built around the custom glasses you see here that is designed to record high-quality egocentric data, which in turn will enable researchers to advance the state-of-the-art around machine perception and personalized, contextually aware AI. Project Aria is not in itself an AR device since it lacks a display, and it is neither a product nor a prototype of a product and will not be for sale. It is a research tool, and it is a critical step on the path to live maps and the interface of the future. One way to think about Project Aria is as an evolution of the methods which were used to build maps in the past. Since the 1960s, satellites have allowed us to map outdoor environments at tremendous scale, but they're limited in the map resolution and freshness they can produce. Low-flying aircraft and car fleets provided data capture at a higher resolution with increased update rates, but they're limited to outdoor environments. Backpack rigs can now map indoor spaces at high resolution, but are unable to fully capture the wide range of environments relevant to our daily lives. Project Aria is the vanguard of the next leap in data capture technology, client-based mapping, which will one day enable anyone with an AR device to build and use live maps wherever and whenever they need to, based on data from their own devices, particularly AR glasses. The use of egocentric data will make it possible to construct higher resolution maps that are dynamically updated at a much higher frequency, and will enable mapping of a far greater spectrum of environments than has been possible with any previous mapping technology. In addition to enabling state-of-the-art research into map building, Project Aria will let researchers explore what data AR glasses will need to capture in actual use, and how AI can most usefully leverage that data to provide personalized assistance. Let's take a look at each component of Project Aria in closer detail. At its heart, Project Aria is an all-day wearable computer and sensor platform with a powerful mobile class processor, all wrapped up in an ergonomic glasses form factor weighing under 70 grams. The device is controlled by the wearer using a mobile companion app, which communicates via an encrypted low-energy Bluetooth link. As Boz noted, once a data sequence has been recorded and the device is placed on charge, data is uploaded to Facebook's research servers and kept in quarantine, meaning it's not made available to researchers. During the quarantine period, participants can delete segments of captured data from the system without accessing the raw data.
Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one, where we continue to explore the technologies that are truly changing the game.